Well, hello, hello. What an incredible show. Hello, Carlos. How are you
Well,
doing?
yeah, good, good. Very excited to be back at the Kupferberg Center for the Arts online stage and with a brand new concert series. This is very, very exciting.
Absolutely. So, my name is Julia del Palacio, and I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Kupferberg Center. And together with my colleague Carlos here, have been curating some of these virtual concerts. And this new series called The Music Makers features alums from the Aaron Copland School of Music. So, it's all Queens College talent, and of course, their collaborators and their guests. So, it's really, really exciting. And we right now had Sofia Tosello and Franco Pinna in the duo Chuño, and they're waiting for us backstage to answer some of the audience's questions and comments. So why don't we bring them on to this screen?
All right, there they are, the artists.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello,
fantastic
Congratulations.
everyone.
show.
Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so beautiful. I mean, it's just such a I mean, I think the combination of the arpa legüera, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but the arpa legüera and Sofia's voice, it just sounds kind of like heavenly. It's just these sort of like different layers of sound, but at the same time, it gives you this sense of like, feels like you're kind of like, I don't know, floating in clouds or something. It's really fantastic. Very lovely.
Thank you for having
Thank
us
you.
here, Julia.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot
thank you,
for
Julia.
inviting us.
Absolutely. So we are going to be getting some questions and comments from the audience on YouTube and Facebook. But while people get on the Q&A, why don't you start by telling us the story behind Duo Chuño? And I know that at one point it was called Chuño Experimental or Chuño Experimental. I don't know if the name has changed, and it's for any reason. But why don't you tell us a little about that? Let's start with you, Sophie.
Okay. Hope I remember well. Franco had the amazing idea. He was the founder. He was because he created this harp, and then he calls me. I think our biography says 2013. I hope I'm doing it. I'm saying it right. So he
Yes.
said, "Hey, you want to get together and just try this thing? It's crazy. I have no idea what I'm doing, but let's try it." And we just got together, and as you can see, he's an octopus, and he's doing 1,000 things, and I was singing on top of all those crazy things and beautiful things, and that's how we started, just by trying. And then at the beginning, the harp, he can talk more about the harp, but some things were not happening, or the tuning, or he needed to change the strings, or I don't know, technical things about the harp.
Those string players, am I right?
Yeah.
Well, it's just so interesting to see that it's both a string instrument and a percussion instrument, right? And so we have a question like specific to the arpa and how that came about, but
Mhm.
I wonder, Franco, if you can talk just generally about the project, and again, how it came about in your head. And then is it always a duo, or do you collaborate with other musicians as well? How does that work?
First, okay, the duo start, like Sofia says, in 2013. After I built the first prototype of this harp idea, that was kind of different than the one that I have now. And as Sofia says, I didn't have idea what was the goal of this. I mean, I just made an instrument. I put one guitar string on the top of a bombo legüero, and I made just one note, one sound, and it was like a drone. And I start playing percussion on the top of that drone, that one string sound, and I get it was something like, for me at least, was kind of magical to have a note in my percussion set, like the actual note, musical note. So and I don't know, and then I start adding more strings to that instrument, that idea, on the bombo legüero. and I had so many strings that the bombo lever started to bend the wood, and I quit the idea. And then I switched everything to another more stronger built drum, like a drum set thing with metal and things. So the idea got better and better, and I built like 3 of those, always changing things until I was a little more like happy with the results. And until now I have this, so I'm not very, very happy with this, but I have in mind building another one of those to to see what I
Artists are always not entirely happy, right, with what, like, this is not perfect yet, it has to be. So it sounds really amazing to us, I think. And we have one of our Gantry series alums in the chat on Facebook, Fernandito Ferrer, who says, wow, this guy is a true genius. One of my favorite acts. Blessings to both. So really amazing.
Yeah, and from YouTube, we also have Manu Sija. Love you guys from Simoca, Argentina. Ahí está Manu. So, you guys just made such an impression on all of our audience members and ourselves. And, there were also some Latin American classics, particularly Juan Luis Guerra's sort of approach, the approach you have to Juan Luis Guerra. And the breadth of your experience as musicians and what you're wanting to bring in, it's not only what you've mentioned already of the influences from Cordoba, but a rather daring take on Latin American repertoire. So would you be able to talk to us about what inspired you to take this approach to Latin American music, such an eclectic yet bounded one?
Okay, I'll start. Well, Franco's from Tucumán. I'm from Cordoba. And we both come from, Franco comes from a very, he plays a lot of folklore. And but we both studied jazz. We came here. He studied at Berkeley. I studied at City College. In fact, I'm also an alumni from Queens College. I did my master's there. So we have a background of, jazz, and we also studied. We played together in many different bands, playing Colombian music with Diego Obregón and Pablo Mayor. And so we have all this vocabulary in our bags, and we decided to do Latin American music because, Franco is one of the best drummers of folklore in Argentina, and why not doing that music? And I'm learning with him, and I played also before with some of the musicians. So we have it in our blood, and then little by little we have some of the songs that you can see in the concert, but we're doing also a song from Turkey, and Franco always likes to mix all his rhythms, and nothing is normal here. Nothing is normal. We will never.
It's in the name, or it was in the name.
Never. We're never going to play a chacarera the way it is. It's going to be with he can explain all the rhythms that he's playing on top, blending with chacarera.
Turkish makam, Franco, I suppose. With a Turkish makam or an Indian tala.
Probably.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, whatever.
So we have a comment from one of the Queens College faculty members in the dance program, Erisa Weeks. Really enjoy the layering of rhythm and vocals. And we have a question from the CUNY Dance Initiative too, kind of related to this idea of the different sort of influences in the Latin American music and how you deal with them. And we hear tango is an important influence. Do any of you dance? We're dancers, so we had to ask.
I took a lot of classes. I can dance a tiny bit, but I really don't. But I sing tango. I sing tango with Pedro Giraudo and with other bands, and I do sing tango. And Franco plays tango. I don't know, Franco, do you dance tango?
No, I just play. El que toca nunca baila.
El que baila sometimes toca, but not always.
You're missing out, Franco.
All right.
Yeah.
We have more. Oh, actually, Fernandito says, yo quiero uno. I want one arpa legüera. So if you sell them, you might be making back soon. So
when the quarantena is gone, I'll be able.
And I understand, Franco, it comes in a package, right? Like you with one arpa legüera, they get like 5 lessons. Is that the deal?
Exactly. Yeah.
We should talk.
Yeah.
And so I know you've talked about the arpa legüera, and you have all this sort of like global approach to your music. So it's obviously there are some East Asian influences on the instrument as well. Is that correct? Is that a correct assumption? Like the Japanese koto or something like that, or just like
I mean, I just built something, and then you can relate with something. But I didn't think about. What I thought that I wanted to have a marimba. That was the beginning of the idea. And I had a friend, Diego Obregón, an amazing musician that passed away last month. And I asked him, please, can you build a marimba for me? I want to, try to use it to comp him during his gigs. But, he was so busy and never could make one for me. So I decided to, start with some ideas, like as I mentioned, with a string on the top of a drum and et cetera, et cetera. And I came up with that. But I didn't think about, any specific instrument, to copy something. Just I did whatever I could whatever I had in my house. And,
very experimental. You guys keep true to your word right there.
And much love to Diego Obregón's family, and of course, wherever he is. It's really a true loss for the musical community of New York and Colombia, of course. He was an amazing musician. We have another question from YouTube, Emiliano Paz. This one is for Sofia. How do you sing above this absolute freaking rhythm?
we were all asking that question. Exactly. It was in our head.
For sure.
Wait, where's the one? That's the question I'm constantly asking myself while I'm singing. Where's the one? No, I have to say that Franco is extremely patient with me. I have to. Oh. I mean, and the good thing is that I always tell everybody that we rehearse in the way a rock band rehearses, and that's the dream of every musician. Like, we work right there on the rehearsal. He brings some idea, and we try things, and we play, and that's great for any artist. Come on, I mean, to get together and create there. So that's, I don't know, the rhythms, I don't know, I have to learn, and I have to really, and I make a lot of mistakes. Poor guy, sometimes he wants to do harder things, and I'm not there yet, so he's being patient. Yes. Yes. For sure. Yeah. Getting together these days, especially, is
so hard.
It's so hard. So it's great that you were able to get together in the same room for this concert, for sure.
Exactly. That was amazing.
Yeah. Wonderful. All right. We have a few more questions. Let me see.
I wanted to say something at the beginning. You said Chuño experimental. Actually, Chuño was always Chuño. It was because of you, and we have to thank you, because we didn't know how to describe the project. And then when we went to Cumbancha and we saw that you put Chuño experimental, we said, maybe that's how we have to describe our project. So it's because of you, Julia.
Exactly.
This could have been an entirely different interview then.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I guess I don't know. I guess I heard it and I was like, oh, this sounds, like a great experiment. I mean, it's not. I think experiment. It sounds like it's still in experimental stages, and probably, I mean, it is, right. Like all that we do as artists, we're always kind of experimenting. But obviously, what you put on the stage, or in this case, the screen, sounds very much like a finished product, right? So it's more about the experimentation with these like different rhythms and different versions of known songs that are very, very interesting. So in that sense, Erisa, again, she was asking, how do you select the songs or the music to reinterpret? And if there are, how much of your repertoire are original songs, if you have them, or how do you pick your songs?
Well, we do have 2 original ones that they're by Franco, I guess. Yeah.
But we didn't play it.
We didn't play them.
We didn't play them. Yeah, in the show for this show, and I don't know. We picked the songs because we like the songs, I guess, but we don't do any special things to pick up the songs. Just if we like one song, we work on that song, and we try to make a version that fits for us, for the instrumentation. And I asked Sofia, you like it or not? Just we agree.
I mean, of course, the lyrics have to be very important, and we feel
right. Yes.
And then, of course, it's very important that that Franco first sees if it's suitable for the harp, because the harp it's like a bandoneon. I mean, I think that's what he explained to me. It's a little bit crazy, maybe you might have one note there and the other one here, and there's sometimes it's hard. I cannot just give him whatever song in whatever key, in whatever, so
any melody.
Any melody. So he first sort of has to see if it's playable. And but always the lyrics have to be something that identifies, that we feel identified. Not only me that I'm singing it, but also for him, more or less the message.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Well, we hope to listen to that, to the original one soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. So at the end of the Q&A, we'll ask you about where to reach you and all of this. But in the meantime, what I was also very struck with the project is that as experiential or experimental as it sounds, like hearing you sing, Sofia, like chacareras, was like, I've heard that before. Like, I'm not saying it's an authentic chacarera that you're singing, but there, I heard something that reminded me of what I have heard. I grew up in Colombia, surrounded by Argentinian music and Mexican music, so like the best of both worlds. We think it was the best anyway. And I guess what I'm trying to get to is that, so you were born and raised in Córdoba, Franco, you in Tucumán. So irrespective of your approach, like how much do you keep of that? How is like upbringing in Argentina, in Tucumán and in Córdoba still influences what you're doing, or does it not at all? Like, you guys are not global citizens and you're like New Yorkers, and then you're like, we're just doing this.
Franquito.
I mean, in my case, I think I'm still playing music from Tucumán. Like, whatever, if I play a song from Spain or Africa or Colombia, I always relate with Tucumán. I have that a couple of rhythms that I play for so many years that are my anchor. So sometimes I play any 6/8, but I relate with chacarera, which is in 6/8 as well. So I think I'm playing always chacarera underneath or something, kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm saying that as a limitation because, always I would sound like I'm playing with that accent, with the Tucumán accent, any music. So I think it's very strong, that influence on my playing.
That's not a limitation. That's called authenticity, my dear. Authenticity.
Yeah. I don't know. When you're Mexican, I'm very authentic. Do you like it? No.
Fernandito Ferrer is saying that the arpa is like an Argentinian hammered dulcimer.
Yeah.
So there you go. You're getting some, marketing material.
Totally.
You can start getting. Fernandito can be your like head of marketing, and you guys will,
Exactly.
And then we have Yaciri Gallegos, who I believe is also a QC alum. Hi, Yaciri, all the way from Mexico. She sent you a heart.
We studied together.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yaciri is an amazing jazz singer as well, for sure. All right, so I think we're going to start wrapping it up. So why don't you tell us where people can find you? Is there a website, or is there a Facebook page, YouTube? Where can they see more videos and social media handles and all of that?
The website is Duo Chuño, without the N, because, so duochuno.com. And then you can go to Facebook also. You can find us actually is Chuño in Facebook, right? Or Duo Chuno. Well, I should know this. And Instagram is Duo Chuno. Instagram, it is at Duo Chuno. And Facebook, I believe, is Chuño.
And we have a YouTube channel too.
And we have a YouTube channel too.
Yeah,
great.
Under the same name. We also have our own Facebook and Instagram things. So yeah, pretty easy.
And do you have, I know that now all the restrictions that we're living in New York City are loosening up a tiny little bit here and there. So do you have any shows coming up, anything more in the virtual world, or are you doing anything like for people to kind of keep an eye out right now?
Not for now. Not yet. We're working on it.
Okay. All right, so audience members, stay tuned. Follow Sofia and Franco Duo Chuño on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to their YouTube channel, and of course, follow and subscribe to the Kupferberg Center's YouTube channel and Facebook pages, Instagram, so you can learn about everything that we have coming up in the fall. We are having programming most Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Next week, we'll have the Godwin Turnback Museum presenting their newest exhibition. So it's going to be a visual arts program, and so stay, just come back Tuesday at 7. And then for our music makers, next month we have the Slavo Rican Assembly, which is the Eastern European and Puerto Rican music all combined. So that's also an incredibly interesting fusion or dialogue, if you will. So Sophie, Franco, thank you so much for giving us this wonderful music and for joining us for this conversation. And we hope to see you soon and that everything goes well with you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you. Good to have you. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.